Them 6 podcast brought to you by TSWS Game.
Come and talk to me, Lennard Ray.
That's
Come
your
on.
name.
Come and talk to me. I just wanna have a conversation. No, I'm not your type of baby. Listen, I'm just saying we can rule the world, just me and you. If you quit playing, won't you take a chance with me and have that conversation? I just wanna have that conversation with you. Come and talk to me. I just wanna have that conversation with you. Look, see we vibing and you know it's true. Baby, what it do? Do for me and I'ma do for you. No doubt about it, Boosie. I'm a Midwest king, looking for myself a queen. Ready to chase a dream with a dope self-esteem. You find it in all I know, and that's for real. You get to shaking that ass on the floor, and I see what's real. No disrespect, I just tell it like it is. Do you ever want some kids? What your ultimate goals? Maybe I can help with those. The mo was broke when he made you a blessing. You looking like a whole buffet, and I need some seconds. You say you had promiscuous ways, that was back in the day. I'll be alive, I say I did it. That shit was a phase. So baby, take this journey with me. You can pick the time and place, this nigga isn't picky. Smile on your face, I know the deal. Sign and deliver after seal. I can see it in her eyes, this one right here for real. I just wanna have a conversation. No, I'm not your type of baby, listen, I'm just saying we can rule the world, just me and you if you quit playing. Won't you take the chance with me and have that conversation? I just wanna have that conversation with you. Come and talk, yeah. I just wanna have that conversation with you. Lady, you so far ahead of these others, just like a ship on the horizon. Picking up on your vibe, signal stronger than Verizon. All the thoughts that I've been contemplating, ain't no time for faking or debating. You the one, ain't no mistaking. Look, I see you swag different. Always carry yourself like you ready, you know the mission. I had to know you, I'm tempted. I can see why you timid. Hold up now, baby, listen. Just take that dance with me, I can show you that there's a difference. I'm locked in. I throw away my playaways because you pop in. A shooter always shoot a shot. With you by my side, I guarantee we'll reach the top. I put that on God and then I'll give you all that I got. So baby, take this journey with me. You can pick the time and place, this nigga isn't picky. Smile on your face, I know the deal. Sign and deliver after seal. I can see it in her eyes, this one right here for real. I just wanna have a conversation. No, I'm not your type of baby, listen, I'm just saying we can rule the world, just me and you if you quit playing. Won't you take that chance with me and have that conversation? I just wanna have that conversation with you. Come and talk, yeah. I just wanna have that conversation with you. Come and talk to me.
All right, sweet. We are here. We are ready to do the damn thing. Welcome everybody to another fantastic episode of Behind Them Six with your boy Ham Solo 05 Gaming on the TSWS Gaming channel on YouTube. I have an awesome guest I've been really excited to talk to, and we actually had talked a little bit about it in the past, but then I had to do a bunch of moving and getting stuff, dealing with life and whatnot. But now I got him here. We got Asa from Game On Daily. Brother, how are you doing today? It's really good to have you.
I'm so good. It's 1 a.m, so I'm a little bit tired, a little bit slow, but besides that, it's great to be here. How you doing?
Oh man, I'm doing fantastic.
Morning, chat. How you doing?
Over here. Yeah, chat. What's going on? How y'all doing out there? Really good to see some of you guys. Some of you are new faces I see in the chat. Some of are return. If you see me kind of doing some of this or whatnot, my camera is right in front of where the chat is a little bit, so I'm gonna have to do something about that right now. But anyways, welcome everybody here. Asa, I'm very happy to have you here. Please let everybody know where they can find you if they don't already know about you, and also let them know what kind of like gaming platforms and whatnot that you like to play on. Continue.
You can find me right here for the next, a couple of hours, however long we're running this for. You can find me on Twitter on Asa_Game1Daily. Same name for YouTube, same name for Twitch, same name on the Xbox. No, it isn't. It's Game On Space Acer on the Xbox. You can find me everywhere. I play on every platform. I play on VR. I play PlayStation, Xbox. I don't play on the Switch, so don't worry about that one. That's
No
me.
Switch.
And GameOnDaily.com. Obviously, the platform that we run, you can always find me there.
No Switch.
I have a Switch. I use it as a prop to throw around every now and again. I don't really play games on it.
The disrespect. All right, cool. All right. Well, anyways, yeah, really happy to have you. Let's go on ahead and get this dang thing started. So I sent you obviously like a list of the questions that I kind of wanted to ask you and whatnot. The one thing you're like, yo, bro, don't ask me this at all. It's just about like your past history with certain games and stuff like that, or like moments more or less is what you just
that one special moment. See, whenever I've been on Iron Lords and a couple of other things like that, and they have this one question like, what's your one like special gaming memory? And it kills me because everybody has these great stories of this time they were in the arcade and this celebrity challenged them and it turned into a 16-player brawl and they won the World Cup and all of this stuff. And I'm like, no, I just like playing games. Let's skip that question.
All right. So that's the one question that's pretty much not going to happen at all. We're not asking them that here today. But what have you been playing as of lately? Some would say it's kind of dry, but is it dry for you?
It will never be dry. I've got more games than I can possibly play for the rest of my lifetime, and that's even if I don't like fall over on my VR treadmill and die in the next week. If I live a long and healthy life, I've got enough games to play. There will be no dry spells. I have a quite extravagant VR setup, so I've got a treadmill to run around on. So I've been running around in Skyrim. It's something. I've been running around in Blade and Sorcery. So if you know your VR games, that one's just a sandbox murder fest. And I've been playing a bit of Multiverses. Just before this show, I was on that Turbo Golf Rocket League weird thing that launched today.
Oh,
not sure about it yet.
Turbo Golf Racing thing?
Turbo Golf Racing, which, if you are going to go and play it, before you start, duck into the menu and turn off the assists. It tries to play itself for you and it makes it really difficult. But once you turn those off, it's easy.
Gotcha. Yeah, I've seen that game on there. I wasn't quite sure if I was ready to do that right now. The game I like to play with a ball and a car is Rocket League. That's what I'm rocking with. I love me some Rocket League.
You'll struggle. Because this one sells itself as being exactly like Rocket League to play, and then you pick it up and it looks like Rocket League and it almost feels like Rocket League and it doesn't quite play like Rocket League.
Interesting.
And then you're like, oh, it's going to take some getting used to. It's not terrible, but Rocket League will throw you off your game. Rocket League's brilliant, by the way. Good, like, fair taste. I love Rocket League. Best multiplayer game around.
So you do. So you're a big fan of that game as well.
I'm not good at it, but I love it. Yeah.
Oh man,
Respect
yeah,
it.
we're gonna have to run some games, and man, I'm not like crazy good either. I suck at flying in that game, but man, on the ground, I'm a force. I'm a force on the ground. I'll shake the living hell out of you. But moving forward, I asked you when we first, got into the green room and whatnot, what would be like the first console that you had that was around, available for you? You can just like wake up in the morning and go turn it on or something like that. Yours was
so
the Mega Drive.
The first one that was, my precious. Like, we had a household Atari ST that was in my parents' bedroom, and I didn't have free access to that, but we had it, and I played a few of those. The first one that I got for myself, as my thing, was Mega Drive or Genesis. If you're either on the wrong side of the rivers, oceans. If you're over in the States, it was a Genesis. Most of the world would have called it a Genesis, but we had a Mega Drive over here, and it was Sonic 2 that sold me on it.
Sonic 2.
Was
that it? Was that what sold you on it, or was that like just a game that you were like, had to play when you got it?
That was the one. So it was in a public space first. There was an adventure playground where you're supposed to go and climb on all the apparatus and go down the slides and things like that. But in a little dingy room at the back, they had a NES, so a Nintendo Entertainment System, and they had a Mega Drive. And they had the Nintendo games, like your Mario 3 and all the rest of it, but they had Sonic 2, and I was like smitten with Sonic 2, so that became the one that I had to get. So I got a hold of it. I can't remember, it's like a combined Christmas birthday thing from my parents, and played it and loved it for quite a while. Followed the Sega line of consoles for a while, but never with the like Nintendo hatred that some people grew up with. So you're stateside, so you probably had playground rivalries on this kind of stuff, but
oh yeah,
wasn't really like that where I am. So if I had a Sega system and my friends had a Nintendo system or a PlayStation later, it wouldn't be like, nah, mine's better than yours, you suck. It'd be like, cool, let's swap, play some games together.
Oh yeah, I mean, we talked our stuff, but most of us were cool. That I mean, keep in mind, gaming wasn't like the coolest thing to talk about at school. So if you did get into discourse with somebody, they'd want to come by and check out your equipment, play your equipment, see what it is, dog you on your own equipment and whatnot. So I mean, that's how it kind of was here, or at least in my experience and whatnot. But yeah, I was a Sega kid growing up. I completely understand. I love the Sega. Actually got it running here right now. Got Batman, I believe, Forever going on. That game is terrible. I don't recommend it at all. No sir, I don't like it. But anyways, I've been going through getting everything set up because I just moved in here. Really loving my retro consoles, and I can't wait to get to dig a little bit further back into them. But back to your story. So you started out with the Mega Drive, Genesis, whichever one you want to call it. What was the next venture after that? Because I'm pretty sure that one is kind of what got you kind of sold into gaming a little bit. Am I right?
Yeah, so I did go silly and get a Mega CD at some point. Did you ever have any of those? Like Mega CD here. Games? Got one up there. Yeah, just out of camera shot. Yeah, same one I had as well, the side one rather than the underneath one.
The number 2, the version 2.
Which I didn't get a lot of use out of, to be honest. I saved up for so long. It was like years of pocket money. I finally got it, and then the Sega Saturn came out. I managed to get one of those as well, which I've actually got by my feet right now. I also got introduced to the world of PlayStation at that point, so I had Final Fantasy VII pulled me over to PlayStation consoles. I did have a Nintendo 64 as well, but that's also the point where I fell off Nintendo. So despite being one that I owned, Nintendo's, well, Mario 3D in particular threw me right off of the Nintendo bandwagon, and I've been off it ever since. Through to the Dreamcast, onto the Xbox, over to the PC side of things, and then as a grown-up, I've been fortunate enough to have pretty much everything to at least dabble with. And what
was your favorite older launch of a console?
See, favorite console or favorite launch?
No, like
because they're very different.
Launch.
So, I would say, if you remember the Saturn, that was a disastrous launch, especially over here. It was a stealth launch that nobody knew about, and it just appeared in shops with nobody knowing about it, including the shops themselves. And that was kind of entertaining. That was like, what the hell is this that's just appeared in the shops? I'm going to get one of these. But it didn't have any hype around it. And the PlayStation being Sony's first console, it didn't really have much hype around it either. The first one that really had that kind of buzz launch for me was probably the Dreamcast, despite its eventual failings. Dreamcast it had a following, it had a marketing campaign around it, it had a midnight launch and a bit of fun. So old console launch, I would probably go with that. That other 360 had a good launch as well.
Yeah, it did. The Dreamcast definitely had a very attractive launch. Love the Dreamcast. One of my favorite consoles when I was a kid. Marvel vs. Capcom was super dope on that. Sonic Adventure, when I was naive enough to play it then, was fantastic on that console. Now I go back and play it, and I'm just like, I gotta use the fucking triggers to turn the camera. This is fucked. Like, I'm not a big fan of that at all. So it's a little rough to come back to, but during its time, like the Dreamcast, before PlayStation blew it out of the water with PlayStation 2, the Dreamcast was absolutely fantastic. I love that console. Really good one.
Yeah.
All right, so moving from there, you said now you have like all the consoles. I want you to explain a little bit about your VR setup. Like what, like you said, you got a treadmill and all that stuff going on. Like, how does that work within the games that you're playing? Because you said you were playing Skyrim, if I'm right. Like, were you walking around in Skyrim on your treadmill?
Walking, like running away, screaming, depending on the situation. Yes, absolutely. There's, if you know Skyrim, like quite near the start of the game, it tells you you're going to have to walk up 7,000 steps to like the top of Mount Hrothgear to meet the Greybeards or something. And when you're playing on a screen, that's like, okay, cool, I'm just going to follow that map marker. When you're playing on a treadmill, you have to walk those 7,000 steps. So it's like, wow, this is a mission now. And I died halfway up, so I had to do it again as well.
So like you literally are walking all of those steps.
Oh yeah, you're in Skyrim.
I mean, fuck, man. Like when you get on a horse, what's that like? Do you just stand there then?
I haven't been on a horse yet because it would be weird. Yeah, you would just be standing there, like you could bounce around if you wanted to, I suppose. But I've not used any fast travel or any horses because it's quite satisfying to just march around the lands.
That's insane. That you're because that's a big freaking game, man. And you're willing.
I'm not very far through it. I've been playing it for a long time.
To place, you're literally gonna take a whole day getting to another town. Like, man, the immersion that you must be getting from that game has to be insane.
Yeah, it's terrifying as well. Like, it's not a horror game, but it's terrifying when something big comes at you.
I could only imagine. Like, what stage are you into that game? How many hours have you put in?
Oh, I started a new playthrough a couple of months ago, and I managed to break 2 VR headsets while I was playing it. So I'm I don't know, probably like 30 hours maybe. So not very far into it as Skyrim goes.
Right. 2 headsets you broke.
Yeah. Natural causes. Possibly I sweated into them too much, but natural causes. 2 of them died. They were both Oculus Quest. So the Quest 2, you can play it wirelessly from a PC. So I've got Skyrim VR running on the PC, and I play it wirelessly on the Quest. 2 of them broke. I got a refund for one and a replacement for the other. So I just got it back about a week ago. And I'm just having the time of my life running around in Skyrim. I love it. It's so fun.
That's insane. I would have never thought to play that game. And I mean, I'd be dripping sweat. I'd weigh about 100 freaking 50 pounds by the time I complete that game. It'd be insane, man. I'd be hurting because I'm a big boy. I'm not small. I'm a big boy. So like playing a game like that, man, I'd be sweating the first 10 minutes of that game. Boy, oh boy. I mean,
I'm definitely sweating in the first 10 minutes. Yeah, the thought of playing it, I'm probably going to start sweating now. But
I got you. Well, I just wanted to shout out the chat. Thanks you guys for coming out. I see, what was it, Tony Okami? I'm guessing that I'm hoping I'm pronouncing these right. I'm probably gonna throw off some names. Don't take it personal. Isla Magosnads. Okay, that's an interesting name. Matt likes games. Really good to see you guys. I'm sure Too Big is somewhere lurking around in here because he always is. But really fantastic to have you guys here. Make sure you guys hit that like button, share it out if you can. That would be fantastic. I'd really appreciate it. But anyways, let's get back to it. So I want to ask you some more questions about your VR setup. So obviously you can walk around and do kind of crazy stuff in Skyrim. And I didn't quite get, I guess, the answer I was looking for. Like I was asking you, like, how does that like work though? Like that's a game that you play with a controller, and there is no like.
You've been doing it wrong.
There is no. No, I'm not saying that you have to. I mean, good God. I mean, if I had the setup to be able to walk around in Skyrim and all these other games, I would do that. But how do you translate it to a VR to be able to have a treadmill and walking around?
So Bethesda did it. Skyrim VR is a separate product that you can get, and that does have. You can get it on the PlayStation VR. I wouldn't particularly recommend it, but you can get it on the PC as well. Bethesda kind of half-assed it a little bit, but it's decent. It gives you your hands in the world, so you can hold your swords, you can swipe them about, and all the rest of it. Cast your magic. shoot the bow and arrow. The bow and arrow works very well in it. But no, it's got a proper VR implementation. Like I say, it's a little bit half-assed, but the PC modding community has fixed almost everything that's wrong with it. So it's a pretty full-on VR experience now. And the treadmill just works like I'd hope a treadmill would. So you walk and you go forwards. You run and you go a bit faster. You die and you cry.
But you don't have to like hit any button to like walk backwards. You just literally just start walking backwards, and the treadmill reads what you're doing.
That's an interesting one. I don't go backwards very often. So the treadmill that I've got is the first generation of them, and it's not great for going backwards. It has like a gesture, so if you just stand still with one foot behind you, it will walk backwards. But backpedaling is not nearly as natural as actually just walking on it. They have a new version releasing at the moment that is a bit more natural in walking backwards and sideways and all the rest of it, which hopefully I'll be able to get at some point, but to earn some money before I can replace my treadmill.
I was gonna say, because I can just imagine eating shit all the time trying to walk backwards on a treadmill.
The treadmill, you can't really fall over, so it's like I'd show you if I could, but it weighs like 80 kilograms. I can't really drag it onto the screen. It's got like a waist harness, so it's circular by your feet. It's got a harness, and it's like you're pretty well strapped into it, so you can spin around and turn freely, but you can't fall over. If you could fall over, you definitely would. Like,
oh man, yeah. I mean that had me worried a little bit, but it's good to know that you're like hoisted up by something.
Yeah.
Keeping you from falling.
Yeah.
Like so when you go to like kneel and stuff, does it like read that right away? Is there a specific way that you have to kneel if you want to like,
most
duck or
VR games, like they only track your hands and your head. So as long as you're getting low, VR knows that you're getting low.
Okay.
The treadmill doesn't so much need to track that. The treadmill, all the treadmill's really doing technically is hijacking the analog stick.
Right.
So if you're running forwards, it's just putting that into the game for you, which is why it works across so many games. Like, it's not super complicated. It's just hijacking input and saying you press forwards that much or whatever.
So when you go to run, does it recognize your speed, or is it like a type of like button that you hit for sprint?
Both. It depends on the game. So Skyrim does have a sprint button you can mod out of it. The treadmill is aware of your speed. So depending on how fast the game lets you go, if the game's natural walking speed would match your running speed, then you can run. But a lot of games slow you down and have a sprint button, and that does get in the way a bit. So some are better than others. Skyrim works well. Half-Life Alyx works well. The Walking Dead Saints and Sinners has an old sprint button. So it does depend game by game. It's definitely not like a massively consumer-ready device. Definitely on the fringe people like me that like to tinker.
Yeah, all right, I hear you. Mr. Joanna Dark, good to see you. Stank Ma, good to see you. Hard Days Mike, his name is Michael Raymond in here, but he goes as Hard Days Mike. He's a panel member on another show that I do called The Game Drain. Fantastic dude, hell of a Doom player. I could play Doom for a year straight and he'd still whoop my ass. He's like one of those kind of Doom players where it's just like, don't step in the ring with him unless you're about it. But anyways, moving forward, so a little bit more about VR I want to know about is like, what other games do you like highly recommend, like are like a must play for somebody like myself that doesn't have like all the treadmill and stuff like that, like just a regular VR. I have a Quest 2, right? What games, what's like the top 3 games that you would recommend playing for like anybody?
Walking Dead Saints and Sinners is hilarious. Like, if you want to stab a zombie in the brain, which you might not think that you want to do, it might not be on your bucket list or whatever, but it's a really good game and you should give it a try. If you can get access to Half-Life Alyx, that's a definite one. I don't want to recommend all first-person games because that's a lot of people expect that if you're playing in VR, you need to be like the character, and that's not true. Things like isometric games are also brilliant. So I would say Demio is worth a go as well. That's more of a tabletop experience. So you're overseeing the action there and moving your character around. And that's just to broaden your horizons and see what VR can do.
That's pretty cool. I didn't even think about that option. I mean, you're right. The first thing I think of when you think of VR is you are first person. All you can see is like your arms, your hands. You might be able to look down at your body and feet, but like I didn't ever think of like a third person type of game or like an over the top kind of game.
You can definitely, it does that intuitive thing really well, where it puts you in the game and you are the character, but it's also fun to be the god above it all. Like perspective, VR can do more than people think. It can be fun in other angles as well.
Okay, when would you think that VR is actually going to take like a broader step out and like be just more mainstream for us users, like that are maybe not used to or like really ready to jump in to VR? Do you think that's like a couple years out, 5 years out, 10 years out, beyond?
Out of those numbers, 10 or beyond, it's not that soon. The challenges that face VR are fairly significant. I think it's been at its most affordable and most accessible for the last 2 years. And I don't know if you saw in the news, but Meta have just increased the price of the Quest 2 by $100.
No way. I didn't see that.
Yeah, so... which was out of the blue and takes VR away from its most accessible point for a while.
I'm happy.
Yeah, and obviously the PlayStation VR 2 looks really good and will push it to some people, but mainstream's a funny old word, and I don't expect it to go mainstream for a long time until things are significantly different. I also don't care. Like, I don't need it to go mainstream for me to have fun with it. I don't expect my treadmill will ever be mainstream, but
yeah,
it'll be a while until.
How much is a treadmill like that? Like that has to be like a. I personally would see something like that because I've seen it before. I just didn't know how it worked or how like you were telling me about falling down and stuff like that. I thought that was more easy to be done than not. I mean, I'm sure you can still fall, but I'm just saying I thought maybe like that'd be something that would happen to me right away as soon as I put it on. But the way you make it sound is it's a little bit more comfortable, a little bit easier to get into. You're hoisted to something. But like, how much does something like that cost? Because that looks to me like $1,500 to like $3,000.
Stateside, I think it's $1,000 pre-tax.
Ooh, that's not too bad. If you're gonna do that,
it's definitely not trivial. Yeah,
it's not cheap, but like, I mean, if you're gonna go into all that kind of setup and whatnot, you think of driving rigs and stuff like that. That's expensive too. Those aren't cheap at all, and you're sitting down. You know, that treadmill you're talking about, that's motorized. That's like you said, your analog stick, essentially. That's interesting. That's only $1,000. I might sound a little ridiculous saying only, but like I said, there's a lot of things that are much more expensive. I mean, just building a PC alone is more expensive, right? But do you need like a PC to be able to run that treadmill?
They say it's compatible with the PlayStation VR, and they're looking for Quest 2 compatibility, but at the moment, I'd say yes, you'd want a PC. Someone in your chat has said that my microphone is popping a bit, so I'm going to press a button that will hopefully fix that, but it will take out my voice in my ears for about 5 seconds. Okay. So you carry on talking to people, and I'll be with you in a sec.
Yeah, no problem. So like I said, shout out to the chat. You guys are fantastic. Mike, it's really good to see you up in here. Matt Likes Games, good to see you. Some of the new folks, make sure you guys hit that like button, share this out to Twitter, Facebook, whatever. Just so it can, reach a broader audience. But hopefully you guys are having a wonderful evening. We got Asa here, obviously, today. The next couple of weeks are going to be interesting. I got Doom Cutie coming in next Tuesday. Thursday, I have a female that I'm still trying to figure out how to say her name properly, to be honest. It's like Kira or something like that, but she's a super dope female Twitch streamer. She plays a lot of like Valorant and stuff like that. So really interesting shows coming soon. I also have one of the Twitch. Let me look up specifically what his job title is, because he's really cool.
Am I still popping?
Zach, go on ahead and speak.
Hello.
A little bit, yeah.
Is it? I don't hear it on my mic. It might be Discord doing that.
Yeah, it's probably his Discord. How about we just exit the call and then just make another one real quick? It won't take none but 2 seconds. There it is. All right, so I'm just gonna hop out of there and just call him again. Hopefully it's on. All right, let's see. Go ahead.
Am I in the call with you? I'm not seeing it.
Yeah, you are. You never exited that last call. Go ahead and exit it real quick.
Yeah.
There we go. Call him back. Hopefully that pop-in stops. That's happened to me a few different times on Discord. It sucks because I really want to be able to have these calls and not have these kind of issues, but you know, electronics are electronics. Let's give it a try again, brother.
I'm here. Hopefully not popping, maybe.
Not popping at all.
Discord.
All right. Yeah, you gotta love Discord. That's how it works around here sometimes. I guess I should maybe try StreamYard or something like that. That's what a lot of people I know use. But you know, I'm trying to get up off my feet, trying to figure things out. StreamYard costs money. Discord doesn't. I'm rocking with Discord right now. That's the way I look at it. But anyways, that person I was talking to you guys about is Zachary Ryan. He's a lead community producer on Twitch. He's going to be coming on the show here in the next couple of weeks. So you guys keep your eyes open. You guys will definitely be seeing a lot more Behind Them Sticks episodes. But let's continue on to the next question, which is a personal one I kind of got. I didn't write it down. What made you jump into VR in the first place?
That's surely the easiest of questions. It's something that everyone has kind of dreamed of as a kid, isn't it? Isn't VR? I get people's problems with it, but I don't think many people doubt the potential or the excitement behind it. As like a vision for what gaming can be, such a natural and obvious step to me. So when it started becoming like a real prospect that you can go into a game, it was an absolute no-brainer that I had to try it as soon as possible. So I did, and funnily enough, I really suffered motion sickness with it, which is one of the barriers to VR's mainstream adoption.
Absolutely.
I suffered with that, but I also loved it too much to not do it. So I've been all over it ever since. And I still play other games as well. I'm not like strictly a VR only person, but it is my favorite. If I'm gonna like cheerlead for anything, it's VR.
Okay,
there's just nothing else quite like it.
Is that now your favorite like platform or console or whatever you want to call it to play on as of now?
So VR offers something very different to flat screen gaming. I call it pancake gaming, so I'm gonna refer it like, yeah, and it's like, it's not derogatory because everybody likes pancakes. I still like pancakes, and you can sit and play a pancake game for hours and you can have a good time. Some games suit the screen more than they suit VR, like things that have really high maneuverability and things like that. Fine, I'll sit down with a controller, I'll chill out and I'll have a good time. But when I want to get properly blown away, then I get into VR. It's just more impressive. Everything's like, wow, there's a freaking dragon trying to eat me. I'm terrified. And you can't get that from a screen.
Oh man, that's fantastic. Well, I kind of want to know now. So you got this VR, thing that you got going on. You got the whole VR setup. You play all these different games. You've been doing it ever since you started on the Sega Mega Drive or Genesis, whichever one you want to call it. What actually like prompted you to get into content creation per se now?
I had no idea. It was an accident.
You just ran into a pole and then started content creating ever since.
Something like that. So Game On Daily, the platform that I mentioned earlier, is a news aggregation and social platform. The whole point of it is for to bring communities together and help content creators and people come together. And Gaz and I made this, and we had this plan to make this, and we differed in opinion on how visible we should be as people running it. Because I didn't want to be like a face of Game On Daily or ever seen by anyone ever. I've spent my life dodging cameras, and the thought of going onto YouTube or Twitch and just being present did not appeal to me in the slightest. But somewhere along the lines, we started doing a little show, and before long it was me that was suggesting that actually we needed cameras for this show to make it more engaging for people. And then I don't know, I guess I enjoy it, and making videos and pushing what we can do with YouTube became a bit of fun, and now I guess it's just something that I do. But how I got into it, it was an accident.
I want you to do your best to explain that accident. Like, what exactly like tipped off? Like, who made the idea of Game On Daily?
Both of us. I don't want to take all the credit, but it was mostly me. No, the game.
I love it when people use that to start up the conversation. I don't want to say I did all of the work, but yeah, I did most of it.
No, so it was actually Gaz approached, but Gaz owned Game On Daily as a name and a platform. He ran it as a website for a long time that I wrote for. This is one of your other questions later on, I know, about how I got to know him, but he actually approached me online to write a review for Drive Club, of all things. So I wrote some reviews for his website and kept writing on there for 2 or 3 years. And then at some point he decided that he'd had enough of all of the like platforms that you can use to push your content. So things like N4G and stuff like that. He didn't like the people there and said, do you want to make like an aggregation platform with me? Like looking for people to invest with him or whatever. And my answer was no, I don't want to make that. I want to make something bigger and better. And started putting big plans together that he was on board with as well. So we set up a business and put a lot of money into it, and are building this thing, and we're still building this thing. We've still got a long way to go, but it was very much all about this platform, this GameOnDaily.com platform that we're building / app one day and all the rest of it. The YouTube side of it, Gaz likes attention. You might have noticed if you've seen any of his content. He enjoys being on camera. He enjoys,
sauce,
and he's good at it. He edits videos well. He's got good energy, and people like him for that. He always wanted to be a celebrity, and I always wanted to be hidden and invisible. But Gaz can't do these things without me, so he needs me if he wants to be a celebrity. So we put these shows on and we put content together, make good things. People seem to enjoy it. People enjoy the fact that we're so different, and we are very different in terms of what we enjoy and how we present ourselves and our views on gaming in general. So we have a good dynamic because we get along well, but we disagree a lot in a friendly way, and it just makes for a good show.
What do you think would be like the biggest similarity of the two of you that most people will think you guys are like opposing off of?
Well, this changes over time, because inevitably anything that we disagree on, if you give it a week or two, Gaz realizes that I was right. So actually, anything more than 2 weeks ago, we're now exactly aligned on, because he always realizes I'm right.
Oh man, that's that's funny. So Ace is saying that he's always right, and Gaz is just catching up.
Yeah.
Oh, that's fantastic. So yeah, so going ahead and let's hop into that question that you said was coming up, the how did you guys meet situation. So let everybody know in the chat, and those that are watching, appreciate y'all. Yeah, let them know how you guys came across each other.
It's definitely like an online meet, I would say, because we were just using like M4G, Reddit, places like that, public forums, and he was running his website and submitting content, and presumably liked the way I wrote when I was just engaging with the community. So he invited me to write a review for Drive Club, because we were having some discussions around the game at the time, and he didn't have much experience with it, or anyone on his team that was kind of into the PlayStation content. So he asked me to review that game. That's how it all started. I was like, yeah, sure. And I responded with full review straight away because I was quite keen on the idea of writing and getting my thoughts across in the way that lots of people are, which is part of the reason that our platform exists now. So yeah, he gave me a little stage to write on, and that went well. So we kept doing that for 2 or 3 years before bigger things came along.
Did he have anybody else on his crew that he had before you came along?
At that point in time, yeah. So people that follow our content and follow his source videos will be aware of Safe. Safe is probably the only person that was around then that's still involved with it all. But it was, in those days, it was very much like it was a blog website, really. It was a small hobbyist platform for people that wanted to write about things. So not even a shadow of what it is now. And okay. Yeah, Safe was definitely already around. But that would be it for the size of the team back then that are still with it. Okay,
so how large are you guys as of now? Like, do you guys have more than just you, Safe, and Gas, or is it just you three that run everything?
So, internally, so it's Gaz and I that own the company and that have poured all the money into it. Safe is still involved in terms of content and things. If you've seen the video, Safe is he's a good personality. He's funny. And he's very talented, so he's very good to have around for things like that, but doesn't own it. And we've got people so we hire a third-party development studio and designer that help with all our content. And we've got some other people in the background that are getting on board to get more involved with content creation. But Game On Daily as a platform, the core of it isn't about the content that we churn out. It's an aggregation platform, so we're promoting other people's content and trying to connect other communities together. The stuff that we do in terms of content creation is a bit of fun on the side, really. And it is, at the moment, content creation is what's supporting our ability to keep building the platform, but it's not the core of it all, if that makes sense.
Okay, what would you call the core then?
The platform, GameOnDaily.com.
All right.
It's a very different thing. So, like, content creation wise, you're mostly looking at our YouTube channel, and we put videos out and we put live shows out. Quite a few live shows. We've got more coming on that front as well. But content creation is not the core of it at all. So GameOnDaily.com is a platform where people that are creating their content either for websites or for YouTube, or they just want somewhere to write natively so you can create content on Game On Daily. It's for those people. And it's all about building communities there so that people can get new favorite content creators, so they can discover new shows and people and websites, new friends, and all that kind of stuff. That's the core of the platform.
Mm-hmm. That's one of my favorite things to do, and that is like the main thing of my channel, is to just get people together and learn your new favorite content creator, or go play some games with them or something like that, or learn why he's the way he is if you've been following him for years or whatnot. Maybe you don't know these stories or something like that. So that's why I'm trying to bring that kind of awareness and stuff like that out there. And I do my best to have people on here and like just be a good person for however long you can. Because not everybody always is like I don't always talk to like the safe person to talk to. Sometimes I like for instance, Gaz and Strictly got into it this last week, right? And that was over the top. I had Strictly on my show just last week. He was cool for the time that he was here or whatnot, but I know how he is on Twitter. I think he's a cool person personally, but like I can see how the hell he rubs people the wrong way. And when I see it, I'm just like, bro, there is so many better different ways to talk to people than that way. But he chooses to go that route, and then he wonders why people are angry. And I'm just like, you're doing it to yourself, Steve. but he's hopefully he's realizing it. He said when he was on here that he's realizing it. So we'll see as time goes along how much he realizes it or not. But I can't wait to get Gaz on here to talk about some more stuff. But anyways, let's get back to the content between me and you here today. So so I want you to tell me like a genre of games that you will not find Asa playing. What and I know you have several games that you're just like, I hear it on your show on Game On Daily on Saturdays where you're just like, dude, I don't got time for that. Won't play that. Screw that game. That ain't happening.
Someone in chat volunteer the answer for me. There's a couple of good options. I think I know what one people are going to say first, but someone in chat tell me what kind of game I'm not going to play. It'll come.
You're so confident on that one. So confident. Someone in chat.
I know these people. Tony definitely knows me. Isla definitely knows me. I don't know how far behind the stream is, but as soon as they hear
turn-based RPG.
There we go. There's one. Absolutely not. I love a turn-based RPG.
Stealth.
I've played through the whole of Halo Infinite, so it can't be that.
Stealth is one for sure, because I heard you say that just the other day. I heard you say stealth games, I don't have time for them, I don't have the patience for them. That was you, right? Absolutely.
I do not enjoy stealth in games. Other answer, like second tier answer, 3D platform games would have been one that I would also. There's a few exceptions on that one. I will play the occasional 3D platformer, but when I said earlier that the Nintendo 64 threw me off of Nintendo, 3D platformers were the reason. So not into those. Don't care for them whatsoever.
What bothers you about 3D platforms? Because I mean, I love those games. I'm not trying to advertise them to you at all because I know that's just not going to work. But I'm just kind of curious, like, what bothers you about that? Because obviously, like, Mario 64, one of the best games
travesty,
of all time.
Terrible game. Oh, we disagree.
Well, I'm just saying, like, it, like just a lot of people will like say, yeah, like when you bring up Nintendo 64, they'll say, well, Mario, duh.
A lot of people will bring that one up, even if you're talking like more broad than the Nintendo 64 and you're saying like best games of all time. Some people will have Mario 64 on their list. I hated it. I was used to like the Mario Brothers 3, I played a fair amount of that. Sonic 2, I played a fair amount of that, and these games were busy and fast. And then Nintendo went for the 3D route, and it was just glaring, horrible colors with one enemy dicking around. And it was slow, and I just didn't enjoy it. I'm like, what have you done? Games were fun, and now you've made them not fun. And it's just like, all the jumping sections are just like, this is harder to judge than it was in 2D. This is just less fun. I'm not enjoying this, and I've never got over it. So that's my take on 3D platformers. There's been a few exceptions. I enjoyed things like Cameo. I want to play through Psychonauts 2. I haven't yet, but I do intend to. But it takes a real pristine platform game, like 3D platform game, for me to want to play it. See, there's a wow in chat. I am Psychonauts. I haven't tried it yet, but it's got enough about it that's not basic platforming that I want to give it a go. I totally understand that most people disagree with that and liked Mario 64 if they were alive when it came out, but not me. And I'm true to myself. If I don't like a game, I don't like a game. Just because it's popular, yeah, I don't care.
Clearly you don't. You don't give a damn about it, which is fine. it doesn't hurt me at the end of the day. I do not care. But so that is, a genre or whatnot that you really don't enjoy. Now, like, let's turn it around to something a little bit more positive. So like what 3 games of just this last year would you say were just like bangers for you? And I'm talking about year from last, August 4th to this August 4th, calendar year.
I struggle with calendar years because everything blends. So obviously Elden Ring was a big standout for everyone. Haven't actually finished Elden Ring, but I enjoyed it for the time that I did play it. I love the fact that it doesn't have any microtransactions or anything like that. It's like a proper game that you can buy and play.
Yeah, it's fantastic.
Yeah, and everybody, like, people know Elden Ring, and whether they like it or not. It was obviously a bit of a cultural phenomenon when it came out. But
I
had a good time with that.
But before you answer, do you think that God of War has a chance? Where's Elden Ring?
As in Game of the Year?
Game of the Year. And let's be honest, those are the heavyweights at the podium in my eyes.
If that happens, then people are just very forgetful. It cannot have a chance, no matter how good God of War Ragnarok is. And I'm very much looking forward to that game, which I'm sure we'll come to a bit later on. But the impact that Elden Ring had when it launched in February, God of War won't replicate that. And it will be fresher in people's minds, too fresh in people's minds. People are going to deliberately hold off their nominations for those awards because they want to wait to play that game. Mm. But they're lying to themselves if they think they liked it more than they liked Elden Ring at the point that Elden Ring came out.
Yeah, I mean, Elden Ring was something else because I'm not into Souls games at all. And my wife seen me just stressed out about not playing that game because I was like not wanting to get it, but the hype around it was so big. And like all my boys that I'm in the chat with like every night were getting into it and playing it. And I was just like, man, like I didn't like Demon Souls. I didn't like most Souls games in general. So I was just like, why the hell would I get Elden Ring? And everyone's just like, well, it's kind of like just more comforting to get into than those other ones. And I'm just like, how? Like, how does this game differ from something else? And everyone's just like, open world, it's open world. If you don't want to fight it, just run away. And I was just like, all right, let me go on ahead and give this thing a try. And I did not put that game down until I became the Elden Lord. Because it was that damn good.
How long is that? How many hours does that mean?
That's probably around like, I want to say like 60 or 70. And that's me exploring, trying to get like some of the like smithing stones that you're supposed to get within that game, and looking up different things so I can figure out like what would work really well with, you know, because I had a mage class because as I said, I suck at Souls games. I wanted to figure out what would be my easiest way to entry into the game and something that I could like always have in my back pocket. Like I can pull this out if I suck at anything else and just murder. And that's exactly what I did in that game. And it was fantastic. I don't remember the sword that I got. It was like Night and Flame or something like that.
Oh, I know that one. I saw that all over Twitter. That's a cheating weapon, right?
Oh, yeah, I guess so. I cheated the hell out of it. I cheated, I guess, my way to the Elden Lord. But it wasn't
Did you get
easy.
it really early? Because it's available really early in the game if you know what you're doing, right?
Yeah, I got it fairly early in the game. I got it before I was like level 30 or something like that. So I got it fairly early. I was definitely grinding for a long time to get those like smithing stones and like the cash to level up and stuff like that. Because just because you get the sword doesn't mean you can just go out and use it right away and start using all the cool stuff. You have to get, you know, the smithing stones for it. You have to level up to even use the sword properly. You have to have like enough like, you know, levels in like magic or whatever it's called or something like that. Each sword, as you guys know, I'm sure a lot of you guys checking the show out have played that game before. Each thing that you get, you have to have like a certain amount of stats for to be able to use it properly. So like just because you get something to be able to cheese something doesn't mean you're just going to be able to cheese right when you get it. You still have to bust your ass. And that's what I kind of like.
All right. I'm not trying to take anything away from you. You can have your Elden Lord title.
I'm gonna take it and I'm gonna run with it. It is what it is. I put the sucker 6 feet under. He's gone. Next playthrough. Next game. Let's go. But what's up? What you got to say, Asa? You look like you got something on your mind.
I just remembered another game that came out in the last 12 months that I absolutely adored, but Hyla preempted me. Guardians of the Galaxy.
Ooh, yeah, that was a good game. What about that game did you like? Because for me, it was the music and just like the attitude between the characters, the banter.
Yeah, it's a funny one because I talked about this a bit in a video recently, but the combat and the puzzles and things like that are all fairly mediocre. But the game itself is much better than the sum of its parts. It's carried by really good voice acting, really good writing, and it won awards for its writing. But the characters, right from the beginning, their banter can make you laugh, but the story can also hit you in the feels as it goes through. Like, it's a good story that caught me off guard. I didn't expect it to play out as strongly as it did. And again, like Elden Ring, it's like it's a properly contained game that you just go and play and you're done and you go, wow, that was a good time. And it was a good time. So I never found the combat to be particularly engaging. It was very simplistic in that sense. And it's obviously quite heavily scripted as you go through. So it's not a sandbox or an open world or anything like that, but it's really good fun and really polished and well done. So played that through quite recently and liked it an awful lot. Top game, that one.
And then do you have a third?
Don't know. I'm waiting for somebody else to volunteer my third for me. Ida and Tony, you've seen me. I play most of my games on Twitch when I can, so they've seen what I enjoyed and what I haven't. It's a case of trying to remember what came out in the last 12 months and what didn't. I know some people have said Halo Infinite. I did enjoy Halo Infinite for what it was worth. I enjoyed the campaign on it, but it does have a lot of flaws as well, so it's hard to call it top three. Dying Light 2, Horizon Forbidden West, I've not played either of them enough to put them in there. I want to, both of them, but time is an issue. Forza Horizon 5 did come out in that time, Isla, but it's not on my list because I like to race in VR, and Forza Horizon 5, Microsoft won't let me do it. I'll come back to on a third one. I'll have a little think about it. Yeah, somebody asked the other day if I can still enjoy like pancake games after playing in VR. In most cases, the answer is yes. Like, I can play a first-person shooter on a screen and have a good time. I can play the games that I've said, Guardians of the Galaxy, Elden Ring, those games perfectly fine on a screen. But a racing games just aren't the same. Like, sitting in the car, looking around, throwing stuff on the seats, like, it's not the same on a screen. So I struggle to enjoy racing games on a screen. Forza Horizon 5 is a quality game from a really good studio, and it deserves the review scores that it's got, but someone needs to slap Microsoft for not letting me play it in VR.
Yes, because I know, like, one big VR game that is for driving would be like, is it called Aceto Corsa? Is that right? Is that how you pronounce it?
That's how I pronounce it. I don't know if it's correct or not.
Yeah. Every time I look at the name of that game, I'm just like, I think it's Aceto Corsa. I'm just gonna leave it at that. And then they have like Gran Turismo. Can't you do that VR?
Oh yeah.
You can't.
I suspect when the PlayStation, you can play the PlayStation 4 one on the first generation PlayStation VR, but Gran Turismo 7, I suspect we'll get that down the line when PSVR 2 is a thing, but not yet.
Gotcha. All right. I was thinking that you might be able to do that now. I didn't know that they had that, wall up. I'm sure they want to keep it up so that they can, have those PlayStation VR sales and whatnot for people that like that kind of stuff. But now going back to a little bit of negativity, I want you to tell me, like, I want you to be very specific with your answer on this one. What in the history of you playing video games is your most hated game of all time? Why are you cheesing so hard when I ask you that damn question?
Because Cat's already answered. Once again, I've got people here that know me well and they've already answered the question. Tony is absolutely correct. My least favorite game of all time is 12 Minutes.
12 Minutes?
And that was 12 Minutes. Do you know it?
That's
it was
not
a Game
even
Pass
that long
game.
ago. That's not even that long.
It's
that game
not,
came out last
it's
year.
not that long ago, and it's the first game that I've endured and played against my better judgment. I hated it, every minute of it, and it takes more than 12 minutes. I cannot stand that game. So, I mean, you could obviously list things like Mario 64 was more impactful as a game that I didn't like. Mario 64 put me off of a whole genre, and it's a popular game and probably an answer that people would would be able to riff off a bit more. But no, 12 minutes. That's the one. Hate it. Hate it.
Why? Like, how did you run into that game and be like, you know what? I've played enough of this to just hate its guts.
So,
did you beat the game, or did you just play
from
a
its
little bit?
initial trailers? No, I completed it. I think. Did I complete it? I think I completed it. I got frustrated and had people tell me how to complete it because I was having an awful time. It's just so badly put together. The trailers were interesting. Like, it had good trailers that made me think this is a game that could turn out well. The story's quite intriguing. No, it isn't. It's freaking weird. Everything about this game is horrible. The controls are horrific. The repetition is horrific. I hate it. Hate it.
The story is something else. Like,
so you do know it.
Yeah.
You played through the whole monster thing, yeah.
Yeah, and like, gross is all I gotta say is gross. Like, that was unnecessary. Like, by the end of it, I was just like kind of like disgusted with myself and my character. I'm just like, how did we get here? I mean, now I know how we got here, but I almost don't want to know. I want to erase those memories because that is disgusting. You wouldn't expect that kind of turn in a game like that. It got you. I can't even say that it got me like as a story twist. It's just like, what the hell is this nonsense? This is like, yeah, that's an uncomfortable way to take the story, but it's not well told either. It's just like, shut up, stupid game. So that's my answer. 12 minutes. 12 minutes is the most hated game of all time.
Yes.
For Asa, which is insane because that game just came out just like a year ago, almost like a year to like this month, I believe.
See, I just really like the concept. I like the concept as well. It just didn't.
Fair enough. Goodness gracious. All right, so
I wish my rant was still there. As the credits played, I just remember like the credits were rolling on the screen and like, prick, don't like you. You fucked up. This is bad.
All right, so
I was rage watching the credits.
apparently so. You got a lot of passion for that, and you really I mean, obviously the people that are checking out this show and whatnot, some of the people that know you know your hatred for that game, which is insane.
Not even a stealth game. Like,
no, there's nothing really stealth about it other than the closet.
Hiding in a cupboard once, yeah.
Yeah, absolutely.
Say once, obviously. By once, I mean like 100 times because the way the game plays out. But
so let's please turn it back to the positive area because you were just ripping that game a new one. Like, go ahead and let me know what game you're most excited for, and I want this to be in two different dimensions: pancake games and VR game. Like, give me one of each that you're really looking forward to, and then I'll continue on with my questions after that.
Okay, so pancake games. Obviously, God of War Ragnarok is like, I'm a fan of the series, new and old. Desperately want the new one. It might be the one game that I'm willing to play, like to pay Sony prices for, to get hold of it and play it before the spoilers roll. So God of War, High on Life, which is a Game Pass title in October from the Rick and Morty creators. Squanch Games looks great. It looks like a funnier Ratchet and Clank to me. So I'm looking forward to that one. I want to play Marvel's Midnight Suns. I want to play... Oh, there's another one that I had in mind and it slipped away.
You're into card games?
Not necessarily, but it's also a tactics game. The card thing has thrown me off. Like, don't know how that's going to play out. But tactics games I do like, yeah. Marvel's Midnight Sun is a bit of both. Tony, that's not a real rumor. You need to stop it. And VR games, I'm looking forward to Bone Lab, which is the sequel to Boneworks, which is a very physics-driven game that just looks amazing. So I want to play that. And they recently announced a new Aliens game for VR from Servia. So that's a VR and a pancake game. I say I'm looking forward to it. I'm already scared just thinking about it, but those are games that I want to play. And obviously PlayStation VR 2 is going to bring some new titles as well that hopefully I'll be able to get hold of one of those and enjoy them.
That was going to be my next question is like, are you a day one when it comes to the PlayStation VR? Do you have to have that as soon as it rolls out?
Money pending. Like there are things that I want. I anticipate that PlayStation VR 2 is going to be incredible. I think it's going to be a really good device, and it's going to change a lot of people's minds on how good VR can be that have sampled PlayStation VR's first generation. So that was, much as I applaud Sony's efforts for it, I think it was fairly damaging for what people think that VR is, for the limitations that were there. PlayStation VR 2 gets rid of most of them. Obviously, it's still got a wire at the moment, but I think it's going to be a really good device, and hopefully they support it well with games. Facebook Meta also have a new headset coming out this year that I'm looking forward to. More so than PlayStation VR 2, because I know that it's going to work with my treadmill and my wireless PC setup. So that's the one that means more to me.
Wow.
And Apple are going to announce something soon as well. But
yeah, you're going to have all of them. You're going to have all of them.
No, I want to have all of them. Hopes and dreams. This is assuming that I find some way to, like, I don't know, walk into some money, which I'm going to do whatever I can. I'm going to, like, scrape, beg, claw, do whatever I can to try and get hold of funds to get all of these things, because there's a lot of things that I want, and it's not a cheap hobby when you get into treadmills and headsets.
Do you worry, like what would it be like to fix a treadmill? Would that be something that you would personally do, or would you send that off to get fixed? Because that sounds finicky.
I don't want to think about that. It's going to work forever. I didn't buy it with thoughts of maintenance. It would be a problem. In the UK, we've got reasonable consumer protections. Like, it will be a nightmare, to be honest. Because even with, like, I can go back to the place that I bought it. If it goes within a year or two, whatever my rights are, I can say, like, you need to fix this. They're still going to say you need to send it to us, and I'm going to go, huh? That's actually quite hard. It's big, and it's almost as heavy as I am. Probably is as heavy as I am. It's not easy to ship. So yeah, hopefully it won't break.
An arm and a leg just to ship that. Now, Hard Days Mike said something in the chat that I'm kind of interested to hear your opinion on. If they were to do a Last of Us remake VR, would you spend $70 on it?
I'd spend way more than that if necessary. Yes.
So
obviously, this is a hypothetical world where I've got money to throw around. No, I don't love Last of Us. I love VR. And if you say, like, any well-polished title, if you say, like, you can get this proper, serious, long, storied, adored game of any kind, and you can have it in VR, what would you give for it? And I will cut my leg off. Even if you didn't ask for it, I'd be like, hey, have my leg, and it'll make the treadmill so difficult to use, but that's how much I want it. I'll be hopping on the treadmill through The Last of Us.
Well, you heard that, Mike. He said that he would cut off his leg to play Last of Us VR. Yeah. To get a proper...
It's not my ideal scenario. Like, I'd hope that I could just hand over some cash for it rather than any part of my body, really, but... Yeah, I'd want it a lot.
I hope so too, bro. I'd hope so, because I don't think anybody wants to see Asa hopping around with one leg because of a video game. All right, so those are some of the things that you're most excited to see. Now let's talk about, like, some of the games in your past, and I want to bring this question up kind of more interesting because you're a VR player. You really enjoy that stuff. I want you to tell me 2 games that you would bring back from the past and have them implemented in a VR way. Like something that's not worked on, not even like thought of right now. What are 2 games that you think that you would really enjoy playing in VR from start to finish?
My answers are going to be totally obscure, and I've not thought this through at all. I'm just going to pick 2 games that I already wanted brought back. That actually, yeah, would work really well in VR in a way. One is Panzer Dragoon Saga. You've had a Sega upbringing. Do you know Panzer Dragoon Saga?
Yes, I know that game.
Adored that as an RPG. would love to fly around on that dragon. It would take some doing to make that game work in VR, but sure, why not? It's not my problem. I'm not making it.
Man,
so
that
give me
sounds
that.
like so much money to spend on getting that game going. Woo!
Yeah.
That sounds expensive.
There's going to be so many games. Like after the show, I'm going to think of all the games that I've played since that I would love to play in VR, and there's going to be so many of them. But I'm still going to go right back into the past and say for option 2 was another Sega RPG called Shining Force 3, which was a tactics RPG. I would love to hover above that battlefield and just drag these little people around and say, go fight that guy. Go fight that guy. Cast your spells over there and watch that all play out. I would have a great time. But also, so those are the 2 games, but also every other game I've ever played. Apart from Elden Ring, that would suck.
Well, Elden Ring would be terrifying.
Elden Ring would be just hard to play in VR because you need those rolls. But
I mean, I'm just imagining getting chased by 2 tree sentinels.
Yeah.
in VR, and you having to run at the speed that you are able to run at, man. I'd drop
away
10
screaming as it
pounds
goes,
in one
night. Yeah. Like they're called terror birds actually, but the ostrich things in Skyrim are like too scary for me. I spent ages running away from one of those that just wouldn't stop chasing me. So yeah, Elden Ring bosses, that would be an experience.
Oh man, especially as fast as some of those bosses strike. Like, how the hell would you roll when you have to?
That's why I say accept Elden Ring.
Because like that, I feel like that's half the game is just rolling away from death.
Mm-hmm.
So that would be interesting to do. And speaking of like rolling and stuff like that, I'm guessing like for certain games that have that kind of stuff implemented, it's just a button that you hit.
There's not many VR games that would have you roll because it's not a good mechanic for it.
Okay. All right. That answers that. That. All right. So now I'm kind of wondering, because we're starting to get kind of to like the latter end of the show. And I always ask both sides of the question. I ask what frustrates you about gaming in general, and then like what's like a dream come true in gaming in general. I want you to start out with, I'm gonna switch it up this time. I want you to tell me your dream come true.
It's got to be around VR. VR is the area that I just wish would have more support than it has, and so the obvious missing piece of the puzzle there is Microsoft. I mentioned Forza Horizon earlier. I don't need VR on an Xbox console, but I need Microsoft to stop holding it back, to stop keeping their titles away from it and let their developers free. So that's my wish for VR. I want Forza Horizon 5 in VR tomorrow. And that's on Microsoft, because they could do that. They could do that, no problem at all. They could just let that happen on PC. But
other than Forza, is there any other first-party Microsoft games that you would like to play in VR?
All of them. Forza Horizon 4, Forza Motorsport 7.
Every single game ever made.
Also every other game. Yeah, what they have, I mean, the difficult thing with Microsoft is a lot of the developers that they bought, prior to being bought, did support VR. You can play Hellblade in VR. It's pretty good. Works quite well. You can play Skyrim and Fallout, and there's a Doom game that you can play in VR. They're great. Bethesda loved it. You can... Wasteland 3's developer, In Exile, they used to make VR games. They did a Bard's Tale game or a Mage's Tale game that you could play entirely in VR, and it was fun. And Microsoft buy them, and then they're not allowed to do it anymore. So if there's one thing that I could change, obviously I'd stop all of the console war fanboys from talking ever, like just rip their tongues out. That would be cool. But that's not really gaming. That's like off on the side. I don't care about that. They can have their little arguments. It's Microsoft letting me have my content, just letting their developers do it. And what was the other side of the question?
And it was like something about gaming that like you just can't stand, or like, you know, something that frustrates you about it.
It's going to be monetization. The whole microtransactions affair that's been going on for some time now. I am skeptical of the future because big corporations want all that money everywhere they can get it, and microtransactions are, I don't know, they get more and more pervasive by the day, and I see that trend continuing. So that's my pet peeve with gaming, is big corporations trying to nickel and dime everywhere. Worries me. So the games that I've mentioned that I've loved, like Guardians of the Galaxy and Elden Ring, they don't have any of that. And I'm not completely, like, I'm not absolutely against microtransactions, because you can have a service game that they're going to support with content for a long time, and it can be the best way to support a game over time. But I'm completely against microtransactions being as pervasive as they are. They ruin a lot of games for me. They ruin a lot of games for me, and that's the thing that frustrates me. And you get a good game that you want to play, like Marvel's Avengers. Pretty good game there. Buy this consumable so you can level up faster. Buy these skins. Buy this. Buy that. Buy that. Go and see this person. Then buy this. Go and buy that. No, I want to play a game. So that's my frustration.
Yeah, absolutely. There's a lot of different games. I mean, there's a lot of free-to-play games where it's like, I kind of get it. You know, you got to make money somehow off of it, other than engagement. But yeah, there are definitely a lot of games that you can purchase that have a crazy amount of microtransactions, and it's like, you want to hurry up and beat the game now, just buy this. And it's just like, like, that's kind of such a cheap way to win. I feel like I'm already cheap enough with games like Elden Ring, where I find a little, you know, a little crease, and I beat the hell out of it. I beat the hell out of that game just with pretty much spamming the same shit over and over and over. But I mean, that's the way I like to play some certain games. It would be a lot different to me if I were to like buy a sword that I know damn well I don't have like the level for, and all of a sudden I'm able to beat things that you've been working hundreds of hours to try to beat. To me, that's a little bit unfair, and that's a little bit unreasonable. But anyways, to the chat, Nathan Martin, welcome to the show. Don't forget, you guys, hit that like button, subscribe if you enjoy this type of content. I will be having his partner Gaz on here in about a week and a half or two, so you guys make sure that you guys stick around and stay ready for that. Silent Cypher, good to see you in the chat as well. Wonderful to see all of you guys in here. Definitely keep going in the chat. Say if you guys have any questions for Asa, as long as they're appropriate, I will ask them in case you had anything that you wanted to throw out or say to them. But anyways, let's keep it moving. So something I was kind of curious to ask you about is like what do you see with you and you and Gaz with Game On Daily? Like, what do you guys see, like, the end game kind of looking like on that? Like, if you were to, like, stop, or actually, if you were to highlight something and be just hyper focused on the one thing that you guys do to provide for your platform, what would it be? What would be that end goal as well?
Yeah. Trade secrets. I'm not sure how much I can tell you on that, because we have good ideas and people might steal them.
Fair enough, yeah.
So our biggest challenge with that as a platform is just getting people on there and using it. We have our kind of roadmap for development is ginormous. There's an awful lot of features and ambitions that we have for it. Can't give you the answer that you want on that one because there is too much. We have massive plans for that platform. World domination, yeah, I mean, that's a fair summary. World domination for the platform. Everyone will be using it. It will just be the place that you go when you're interested in gaming. When you're an enthusiast and you love it, that's where you'll be. When we get there, we've made it.
Okay, that's interesting. But let's see. If you had to, like, let's say you got like money from, or like somebody asked to like partner or like have some sort of like stake into, would you allow like a Microsoft or a Sony or somebody to like pretty much put their tag on you guys, or would you want to remain like what like some people would say like underground or you know, your own platform?
That would very much depend on circumstances. So we are very independent, very underground, as you'd say. We will never catch us shilling for a product because we got it for free from somewhere or anything like that. Integrity matters a lot. We also have the very realistic situation that we're not going to be able to build what we want to without any finances at all. So we're not gonna sell out to someone and suddenly be a shill corporation, because that's not what we've built and that's not what we're all about. But we would definitely look at like offers for anybody that was wanting to become some kind of partner in the business, and it would very much depend on what that offer is and how we felt about it at the time. It's not a simple yes/no answer, but we're not about to sell out to be anybody's like corporate sponsored advertising company.
Okay. That was the answer I was looking for. That's what's up. Super dope. All right, well, let's get this kind of going, and let's see if anybody had any questions in here. I'm not seeing a whole lot, or let's see. No, so let's go on ahead, and I want you to let me know if you pretty much have any questions for me at all or whatnot before we go on ahead and get ready to get out of here.
Explain Ham Solo. How long have you been Ham Solo, and why are you Ham Solo?
Oh man, I've said this on another podcast recently, but the reason that I have the name that I have, a lot of people think it's because I'm like huge in Star Wars or something like that. Actually, the last podcast I was on with Spooky, with Spooky, Bushido, and all of them, they thought like I was a huge Star Wars like fan or nerd or whatever, and that's not true. But I did get my name obviously partially from Star Wars. So like I was at my old place that I used to rent downstairs playing my big ass, you know, Xbox, the original Xbox, playing Battlefront 2. Right? Mm-hmm. Fantastic game. A lot of hours spent and wasted playing that game. My cousin and me woke up and we played it for a little while, and he had to go off to work. He comes back from work like 7 or 8 hours later. I'm in the exact same spot that he left me in, still playing that game. Mm-hmm. So he walks down the stairs and he says, "What are you doing?" And I'm like, I'm still playing Star Wars. And he's like, "Damn, you've been playing that ever since I went to work?" And I was like, "Absolutely." And he's like, "God damn, you're going ham solo." And I was like, "That's a fantastic fucking name." And I'm gonna run with that. So I've had that name that I've wanted to use since 2008, but I had a different gamer tag and everything like that. My gamer tag was inappropriate, raunchy, foul. I'm not gonna say it on air because I'm not comfortable with it. All right, I'm not comfortable. but it was one of those inappropriate names, and Xbox had hit me up like several times, you know, with their messaging saying, "Hey, you got flagged for this name, change it." So then I took out the first word and put like a different word and left the rest of it. So I technically changed it, right? Mm-hmm. Still too inappropriate, because yeah, it was inappropriate. Literally, they gave me, I'm not even kidding, like 5 attempts. And me, young and dumb, I didn't know anything. I didn't know like the consequences or the repercussions behind it, because I was super duper casual in gaming at that time. I hopped online, played with my boys. I didn't have any digital games at the time, so digital games weren't a big deal to me. So like, I lose a profile, it's whatever or whatnot. Or at least I thought it's whatever, right? And then yeah, that like 5th time came around, they're like, "Yo, your profile is suspended until December 31st of 9,999. So it's
Well, I
gone
hope you live
for
to
good.
see that day.
Right? I won't be around. My daughter won't be around. Her daughter or
Microsoft
son
probably won't be around. Maybe they will.
Microsoft ain't even going to be able to. They'll be gone probably. So, so from there, I actually made my daughter's name, which she wasn't born yet, but I had a email from way back when I was a little kid called Ram 05. And Rain was like a name that I just thought was really cool because it was like Reigning King, right? I ended up actually naming my daughter Rain. Ram was because it was my favorite truck. 05, August 5th is my birthday. That's my favorite number, number 5. So I picked those. I had that profile for a little bit, and then like my whatchamacallit, the subscription lapsed or whatnot, and I was cheap. I was in college at that time, so I was just like, screw it, I'm just gonna make a new email, right, and have a new free month or something like that, and then connect that one to my new car or whatnot. And Mike, shut up, Beef Solo 50. But anyways, but yes, from there I went on ahead and I was like, oh yeah, my cousin gave me that name years back, and I still thought it was dope to that day. So that's where Ham Solo 05 gaming came from during the Xbox One generation. So I held that name from when I had my original Xbox all the way up until the Xbox One, and then I finally implemented that name, and that's where I'm at with that.
You know
Long
what?
story.
Over here, that's all right. Over here, we're in the future. It is the 5th of August. Happy birthday.
Oh, thank you, brother. I appreciate that. You're right. You are in the future. You're living in the future. So yeah, I appreciate the birthday wish, brother. I had somebody ask something in the chat, so I'm going to check that out. Asa, you talking about Manscaped in my chat. What are you doing, bro? What?
They'll reach out to you soon. They'll reach out,
my
offering you some
goodness.
free products for some sponsorship. Don't take it.
Maybe. Oh, Lord. But anyways, Nathan Martin was asking, he said, Ham Solo, what drove you to YouTube? Looking to do my own stuff soon and already have a channel. Would love to co-stream or work on something if you'd be down. I'm an open book, man. I'm an open book. So this is why I do this kind of show, is to reach out to people like you that are thinking about getting in, or if you want to know about somebody else, you know, you could see how they got started. Asa, why don't you go on ahead and let them know, like what kind of materials did you have when you first got started? Because me, I have a simple like Logitech camera, a mic right here that I picked up for like $70 at a Micro Center on sale. It's a blue like Yeti Nano. It's nothing. It's nothing serious or whatnot. And I got 2 screens on a computer that I spent way too much money on. I didn't have to do all this. I mean, a lot of people, you can do this on like a cheap laptop if you want to. It's gonna run like ass and maybe frustrate you, but you can still do it. Hey, so you let them know, what did you start on when you first started making content, doing editing, getting on camera?
I do not remember, but I would just say if you're looking to get into it and you think that it's something that's fun, then get into it and have some fun. Get started before you spend loads of money on it. Make sure that you are enjoying it. And yeah, just put stuff out there. Don't worry about making it perfect. Do something you enjoy, have some fun with it, get it out, see how it goes. If you keep having fun and you want to start investing into it, then you work on your audio quality and get a microphone. And Yeti or something like that is fine, but yeah, I don't know what kind of thing you want to do. If you want to do live content, if you want to do videos, but give me a message on Twitter if you want. I'll gladly give you any advice that you need. Yeah,
and you make sure you hit me up on Twitter as well. It's like the name spinning around that you can see above my ham solo 05 gaming. That is my Twitter. My DMs are open, so just holler at me through there, and we can work on something. I can even have you on the show sometime, and we can see, you know, how you got big into gaming, and you know, what direction and course that you would like to take going down, you know, the line and whatnot. But I gotta get Asa to bed because it is like almost like, what is it, like 2 a.m. there, almost 3?
2:30.
Yeah, it is getting pretty late, and I can see his eyes are getting a little glossy right now. He's starting to do a little bit of yawning and whatnot, and I want to respect his time. And yeah, so make sure you hit us up, Nathan. I mean, I believe Asa's DMs are open. Maybe, I'm not sure. They might be. I don't want to put them on blast like that, even though I already did.
They definitely are, and I'm so willing to like help. If you have any questions, don't feel bad about it. Ask away.
Yep. That will be your main course of help, is just not being afraid and just asking people. Just literally just holler at them. If you think they're a good person, try to see if that's true. Ask them a few questions. Make sure that there's somebody that you can work with. But absolutely get into that. It's really fun. I mean, Doc Dark 1985, he does everything from his phone. So you can do this fairly easily if you want to. All it takes is a little bit of initiative. But I thank you, Asa, Mr. Asa from Game On Daily. Appreciate you stopping through, giving me a little bit of your time, even though it's super late and you're already enjoying my birthday before me. That's cool and all. But going ahead and let everybody know where they can find you, even though I just kind of rambled it off a little bit. I do have his stuff in the description. So if you need just a quick link, there it is. All of his stuff is in there. But going ahead and let him hear it out the horse's mouth. No pun intended.
Yeah, first place to go. The place that I'm trying to grow at the moment is my own little YouTube channel that has a very small following. It's Asa_Game On Daily. I was live on there just a few hours ago, talking for 2 hours. So if you want to hear more from me, there's plenty to hear on there. There's obviously all of the Game On Daily channels and content and avenues. So you can find me on GameOnDaily.com. You can see me on the Game On Daily YouTube channel, which is Game On Daily. I'm on Twitter. I try and use Discord a little bit. I'm not very good with Discord. Xbox, PlayStation, VR. I'm everywhere. I'm tired. Thank you for the invite. It's been a good chat. I hope people in chat have had something of a good time and got something from it. But yeah, it's been good.
Absolutely. Thank you again for being here. And you guys, make sure that you guys tune in, like I said, this next week.
Mario sucks.
Oh my God, you didn't have to do that. You don't have to say that.
I did.
But anyways, I got Doom Cutie coming on Tuesday. It's going to be an earlier show because she is in Australia. And it's actually going to be hella crazy early for her. It's going to be like 4 a.m. for her, where it's going to be 4 p.m. EST here on the TSWS gaming channel. And that is, like I said, on Tuesday. And then on Thursday, I have, I believe it's Rayua. I'm gonna have to ask her personally before we even start the show, or else I'm gonna chop her name up for the whole hour and a half or whatever that we're doing the damn thing. But I got 2 different ladies coming on this coming week, so you guys make sure to keep an eye out for that. And then also keep an eye out for my show on my show tomorrow with Loke and Cozy Beluga. We do bullshitting every Friday. We do a little pre-show on Twitter for like an hour where we just get into space and we just talk amongst each other just to kind of get ourselves hyped, make fun of each other a little bit before we actually get on the show, get on camera and make fun of each other. But anyways, appreciate y'all for stopping through. Make sure you hit that like button if you haven't already, but y'all have a wonderful night. This is Ham Solo 05 with TSWS Gaming Channel behind them sticks, saying keep it gaming or keep it moving. Peace out, y'all. Welcome to the Behind Them Sticks podcast, brought to you by TSWS Gaming.
Come and talk to me, Lennard Ray. That's your name. Come and talk to me. I just wanna have a conversation. No, I'm not your type of baby. baby, listen, I'm just saying. We can rule the world, just me and you, if you could play it. Won't you take a chance with me and have that conversation? I just wanna have that conversation with you. Talk to me. I just wanna have that conversation with you. Look, see, we vibing and you know it's true. Baby, what it do? Do for me and I'ma do for you. No doubt about it, Boosie, I'm a Midwest king. Looking for myself a queen. Ready to chase a dream with a dope self-esteem. You find it in all I know and that's for real. You get to shaking that ass